probably rather not. Could we not do that?
Can we not do that, please?
Oh, why not?
So I just want to have an informal class.
It's a personal choice that people being good with it. Thank you.
I mean, you're a public figure, right? Don't you get taped all the time?
I just thought we were, it's a different conversation, different kind of video. That's all. The challenge then for the United States is
Curious as to what the Bilderberg Group was, had you attended a meeting, and what exactly goes on there, and how that relates to your work with the CFR.
There's various, as I said, the Council on Foreign Relations, where I am as the president, is an organization that was founded just over 85 years ago. It's independent. We don't get a nickel of government money. It's a membership organization. We're based in New York. We've got members scattered all around the country.
The world, right? It's an international organization, right?
The only individual members are American citizens. We have some corporate members, some of which are international, but the only individual members are U.S. citizens.
There's another division of the World Institute for International Affairs.
No relationship whatsoever.
But aren't there several Council on Foreign Relations in countries all over the world?
Some other organizations use that. Just about 6 months ago, there was something founded called the European Council on Foreign Relations. There's a German council, there's a Mexican, but they have no relationship with us. These are just totally independent organizations, 100% independent. And what we do is we like to think we're a resource, and we are producing ideas to put into the marketplace of the debate in this country and the world about American foreign policy. And we have scholars, we have meetings, we have a website, which I hope you go on, CFR.org. We have a magazine, Foreign Affairs, which I think is the greatest journal in the world on foreign policy. And that's what we do. We're a non-profit organization. Again, we don't take government money. We don't take institutional positions. We've got 50 scholars who are associated with us who think everything from on the left side of the football field to the right side of the football field. As long as it's good work, I'm happy with it.
Well, my question was in regards to Bilderberg and how that ties into your work with the CFR.
Bilderberg has no relationship with the Council on Foreign Relations. Bilderberg, for those of you who haven't heard of it, is an annual meeting. It's most, I don't know if it's entirely, I think it's mostly Americans and Europeans. It usually happens every spring. It rotates around the world. Each spring, maybe, I don't know, maybe 100 people plus or minus get together. Each spring, what they spend is a couple of days talking about foreign policy and international relations.
But that has no relation to the Council on Foreign Relations, even though it's about foreign policy?
There are thousands of organizations around the world that deal with international subjects. There's Bilderberg, there's the Trilateral Commission, which is another one. There's, in this country, hundreds of local groups around the country. I don't know, for example, does Cincinnati have a World Affairs Council or something like that? So there's people here, they're on their own, they're doing their thing. In cities like Los Angeles, you've got several, Chicago has them. All independent of us, all, as I know, as far as I know, independent women. I think it's great. I think that to the extent we have informed conversation in this country and around the world about international subjects, about how to deal with what I think are the all too real challenges of this era, I think that's great. I think that's it's a healthy sign of a democracy.
May I ask two questions? One follow another. I only expect short answers. And this is about foreign policy. The question is, very recently, I see some speculations among the scholars as well as the legal specialists. The issue is about to restore.
These NGOs you speak of, non-governmental organizations, don't you think they'd be more aptly named world governmental organizations?
Yeah.
Or where's the Council on Foreign Relations getting its funding?
We get our funding from about a half dozen different sources. It's all a matter of public record. We get our funding from our members pay dues. Some of our members make contributions beyond that. Various foundations.
Mm-hmm. What foundations are you talking?
Our public record. Foundations you've heard of: Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation,
Carnegie Mellon,
MacArthur Foundation, Carnegie Foundation. qualifications. We bring in income. That's pretty traditional, I think, for most of these organizations, groups like Amnesty International, or groups like Doctors Without Frontiers. These people send doctors all around the world to deal with people's medical needs in strife-torn areas. I think a contributions usually from individuals, sometimes from corporations, sometimes from governments. But I mean, I read a lot of stuff about world government. I don't know what that means. I think...
What about the term world governance that David Rockefeller used?
I don't understand what world... No one's talking about world government. I don't understand what world... No one's talking about world government.
The Norman Cousins Global Governance Award, Walter Cronkite. World government is the structure necessary for global justice. You, sir. You, sir, have been a lifelong advocate of this principle.
Exporters. I'm a believer that there needs to be some sort of an international arrangement to deal with climate change, or our quality of life and our prosperity to be significantly affected. There's got to be international cooperation against terrorism. We've got to have international cooperation against nuclear spread. This isn't world government. But this is, to me, it seems to me, sensible and necessary examples of international collaboration to deal with specific challenges.
What I've heard is that you have a lot of involvement with the North American Union, specifically...
Is your camera like this? You're making it uneasy.
It's not on.
Again, if you want to have a conversation, I'd love to have a conversation, but I'd like to have it in an informal way in a classroom.
It's not helpful. It's a cost, like I alluded to the MP. We're going to have to... Do you have a question like that?
Yeah, I was just going to ask with respect to what this gentleman was saying. Possibly we not be... I've heard a lot of rumors about like the Amero as we move... as an Amero currency, as we...
The Amero is part of the NAU,
as we kind
NAFTA,
of
all that.
further move into the North American Union. Okay.
I would take the principle alternative or complementary currency. Dollar, I think the same point would be the euro. And more and more countries, you know, if you add up the GDP of the European Union, it's larger than the United States. So the euro is becoming, and because of the dollar's weakness, you're seeing a natural rebalancing of holdings. So I think all things being equal, the euro will be a more significant force in the world in 5 or 10 years than it is now, but it will coexist with the dollar. The dollar is too important. There's too many countries are dependent on it. The dollar is not going to